Yeah, man. Hi, Pick is the guy here, Jamaican content creator. Konnichiwa, GWAN. We're back. All right, so this week, Konnichiwa, GWAN podcast. Don't want to get too specific, but I don't also want to be too general. This week, kind of transitioning at work. Well, anyway, I'm changing jobs. I'm moving into another position, and I'm being trained, and it's a whole new type of challenge for me, but well deserved, I think. So now I have to commute at least an hour to go to the office. But that's not even the thing. Traveling on the trains in Japan, in cities, in rush hour, is an extreme sport. Okay? All the things you heard about Japan goes right out the window. Alright? The manners are gone. Every man for themselves. Alright? And it's not me exaggerating. This is real. These are real facts. If you have lived in Japan and worked during regular hours between like 8 to 5, 8 to whatever, and you travel on the train, believe me when I say, it is not easy. If you're at a main station, like if your station is either a major entry point or exit point, or a terminal or a starting point, then you probably have a better chance of getting on and getting a seat. Otherwise, dog nyame sup, as Jamaicans would say. And it's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. I used to avoid all of the rush hour because when I worked in the afternoons and I get home late at night. So I would avoid all of the rush hour and avoiding standing on trains and the crowded trains, really. Where I live, 3 trains per hour going to the city. That's it. I know people in Tokyo, Osaka, and Nagoya, maybe the places that are central, are like, oh my god, the ghetto. What? I get a train every 5 minutes, every 2 minutes sometimes, during peak hours. Yes, Tokyo's like that. Some lines like the Yamanote line runs every 2 or 3 minutes from like 7 to 8, 9-ish, and then after that, spreads out to 5 minutes, 7, 10 minutes, whatever. When I miss a train in the countryside, bro, I have to wait another hour to go to some places. Another hour. Because there's no other train going in that direction or anywhere remotely close to that place. So, yeah. Those are the things that are some of the disadvantages. And so, I was on the train recently, and I've seen some wild things on the train, right? I've seen people eating their own boogers, whether they appear to be mentally unstable or they look normal, right? Because a lot of mad people in Japan in clean clothes, in suits, with briefcases and bags, and they are not mentally stable. They're mad. They're mad. And apart from that, I've seen them eat or wipe on something. And so, yeah. I have a think. So, for me, 2 things happened to me recently. First, I was in the countryside. So, the etiquette for train etiquette in Japan is something that people preach about, and it's something that's observed, and it is commonly known. So, for instance, when you're coming into a train, you let the people off. Because if you don't let them off, how you're going, right? That does make sense, right? Cool. But please remember, Japanese Oba-sans, Oji-sans. Oba-san, Oji-san, Jiji, Baba. These older people have already paid their dues to society and fear nothing. You don't want to cross an elderly Japanese man or woman, alright? Because they went through the process, been a child, been an adult, paid their dues, behaved properly. Now they're about to die or in the process of dying or closer to dying than me. Coincidentally, I don't know. By statistics, getting older you get, the closer you are to dying. That's how I think it works, right? And some of these old men and old women, Baba, Gigi, them not care. Them say, yeah, man, my dues have been paid and now it's for me to cash in that chip. So this old man from Tateyama, coming off of this train, one man denture, so there's only a driver, no conductor. Schoolgirls are outside lining up to come off the train. People are coming on, the doors open, I'm trying to come off. I have my phone like this, and I'm trying to get off the train. And I'm walking. And before all the Japanese people were coming off on one side, and the schoolgirls letting them out, this old man just comes right in and stands up in front of me. So Andre Saint middle name decides to say, me nah move. Because you could have all little more. When it's Japanese people, I don't see you doing that. So what you try to do to the little boy? Well, he was much older than me. My students consider me an old man, a grandfather. So it was maybe elderly, old and old violence. I decided not to move. And all he did this. and chuckle and smile and look up to me like say I was going to be sorry for him. And I just took a deep breath, sidestepped, and walked out to the train. 4 years ago, something would have happened like a push. No, I wouldn't know what happened. But I'm just saying, yeah, I never like that because they don't do these things to other Japanese people. Hardly do it. But obviously the foreigners are the ones that are going to get attacked or get the blame, so you can't do that. Second is it have to be this week. I am traveling to Saitama for a meeting. I have to wake up at the crack of dawn, 6:30. Leave my house to get a train at 8 something to get to Saitama for 10:55. It's almost 2.5 hours. It's a 2.5 hour plus commute. I get on the train system and my friend, my supervisor, and so how the seats are set up, we have the corner seats, which are the most coveted seats on the train, ask anybody. Corner seats, and then you have the iron bar, and then there's a space between the iron bar, so there are 2 persons can hold here. On the other side of the bar, there are 1, 2, 3 spaces, right? This man, this old salaryman, who is about the size of Andre himself, me, Andre, third person, plops himself down and locks it into the seat and pushes on me. So I am now being pressed on my supervisor. And I'm like, is this man serious? Is this man being for real right now? Because I think I'm going to lose a blood vessel. But I look at my supervisor and say, you seeing this? You seeing this? And she's like, Andre, stand up for yourself, man. Push back, and let him know that you're there. Don't push back, but let him know you're there. No, you see, it's quite easy for her to say that. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you guys to get out. But it's me as a black, scary foreign guy in a big red jacket. You'd have heard about me on the news. Foreigner arrested for inciting violence on the train. Because ain't no way. And you see, there's a way to do things, My issue, my reason why I was so incensed was he looked at me with this day like, oh, this one I was with his mask and this. And I'm just planted himself even more. But it's his country, it's his world. I'm just borrowing time in his country. So I just said, you know what, take a deep breath, come and look, and uncomfortably sat like this for about 5 minutes until the train stopped at another station. People got off and he moved over to the seats in front of me. I say this to say, people, please show some restraint. Because you see, we have lost our self-control as a people in general. And not everything is a fight, and not everything is discrimination, and not everything is racism, and not everything is everything. However, sometimes things just line up to hit that trifecta, gaijin, discrimination, bingo. For me, I love traveling on the train because I don't have to pay for the expensive parking, right, in the places that I tend to go to. Yeah, imagine 4,200 yen for half an hour. What? $30 to park? Come on, man, Rapungi do better. So, yeah. So when people complain about, nobody wants to know Miss Simon on the train, it's something that really happens. Like, people will go on the train and say, you know what, I say empty seat, but it's beside a foreigner. So let me just go somewhere else where there's a empty seat beside a Japanese person. And I ain't gonna hold you. Let me be for real. I have been in Japan so long that I do the same exact thing. It's not about being discriminated. Sometimes you just can't bother being too close to another person. But oftentimes the person just happens to be a foreigner in the eyes of a Japanese person, and vice versa. So we just have to be careful, because foreigners don't only mean Americans or black people. For those who are watching this video, foreigners mean persons who are not Japanese. Full stop. That's how they see it. Outsiders versus the insiders. Soto versus Naka. You understand me? Outside versus inside. And it is just a crazy concept that, Japan just doesn't like that sort of stuff. And it is what it is at the end of the day. Cool. But positively speaking, as some of my students that haven't taught in years returned to their old schools to say their farewell and thanks to me. I got chocolates, I got strawberries, I got letters written in English. I mean, it was an emotional week for me last week of January. I mean, just the impact that you have. You don't know who really respects you or loves you and stuff. And it is amazing. Amazing the feeling you get that you can't even pay for that. There's no value you can put on that. To know that students said, I fell in love with English because of you. Yo, when the dogs wrote that, it is, no, to me, he hasn't seen me in about 2 years. He fell in love with English. He liked English because of me. Me. Eh? Man, it's ironic because I never wanted to be a teacher at any form of my life. I want to be a teacher. Both my parents are teachers, trained teachers, excellent educators. And I'll tell you a funny story. When I was going in high school, way back in the 2000s, and I did literature, right? The literature in A levels, GCE, and my mother would come to me and like see my essays and stuff and ask why I wouldn't ask her for help. I just wanted to do things on my own, and to her, she saw it as me not respecting her expertise. But I just knew I had a safety net as opposed to wanting to depend on somebody. You know what I mean? And I explained to her many years later that I just felt that I could do it on my own. And if I had any problems, I felt I could handle. I had a safety net, which was her. But she didn't see it that way. I know parents don't see things the same way as us children. As you grow older, you get to appreciate a lot of things that they would have done and sacrificed for you. And people will say that, oh, Piggles, you this and that and that. A lot of times, we allow the images that people have of us to determine who we are, when that's not who we are. And it's very careful we don't get lost in what society wants us to be or what other persons have us as defining us. And when I say that, I mean not that, if you're a doctor, then I expect to be a doctor. Yes, cool. But not because they say, oh, I always saw you to become a priest. Why? Just because your father is a priest? Is that it? Oh, Andre always saw you to be this and that. And sometimes you just need to go out and find and discover yourself. What's your purpose? Everybody has a purpose. And the persons who find their purpose soonest will be happier sooner and be able to enjoy what they do. I'm not here to give them advice like I'm some life coach or whatever. I am just 38 years old. And I just love making people happy. I love making people smile and entertaining. That's just something I love to do, regardless, in whatever shape or form. And it is just crazy to me that persons are... Well, I don't know. Where am I going? All right, stop. It's cool. We're done with that. Next topic. I want to ask something. Because, you see, people can do things, but sometimes you got to put in a little variation, a little something. Right? This year, later this year, we're going to be doing some more reggae events in Japan. Look out for those. Yeah, man, whole heap of things coming. There's a concert, Afro Jam concert. I'm going to be involved in that as well. Shensia is coming to Japan. Me, I got involved in that as well. Hopefully, I'll see him there, Shensia. But yeah, it's going to be a big concert, big thing in the summer. 3 spots: Osaka, Okinawa, and Tokyo. Just follow the Instagram page and whatever, Afrojam on Instagram too. But yeah, I realized that a lot of persons in Tokyo, especially, Tokyo is a special place. It's overrated and underrated at the same time. And when I say overrated, is that it's overpopulated, definitely. And as a result, people only go to Tokyo and act like, oh yes, I live in Tokyo because... Shut up. Tokyo can be such a good and wonderful place. And you can make so many connections and do so many things and link up a network there. And then a lot of people only use people for that. They don't use people as people, or not use, don't see them as people or make genuine connections. They just say, oh yeah, you're a connect, you're for this and that, and that's it. And that is fine if that's what you're going to have to work with people. But 100 million, or if there are 10 deals to be done, 11 of them are done by drinking. Drinking in Japan is very important. If you can't drink alcohol in Japan, if you have a low tolerance, you can't do business in Japan. And that is pretty much a very simple and underrated bit of advice. If you can't drink, you can't think. If you can't drink in Japan, then you're going to sink. If you can't drink in Japan, then you're going to end up like mink. I don't know. It's true. So many things that have been discussed, deals, promotions, parties, events have been planned over having a drink and talking and getting to know somebody. And feeling if their vibe is genuine, the type of person they are, hear their views on certain things. And then based on that initial meeting, you can start to make bank. But of course, you have little, caveats and external factors and such variables in play. Like who knows you, who introduced you, what type of person you are. If you're a snake, it is a snake, and a snake will always be a snake. But just be careful. A snake still has its use. Yeah. Not making this video too long because apparently people don't like to watch the video long. So yeah, that's the video for today. I was just on a little rant. So today I talked about what? Trains in Japan and basically transport and you as a foreigner in that space. And also there's a lot of entertainment events happening in Japan. Just find the tribe, find the people, connect with them, and link up and start making moves and start creating stuff. Because I'm so tired of the mediocrity here. Well, a lot of people are skating on the fact that they're foreigners and they just don't actually have really good talent or really good whatever. To me, I might be one of them. People might say that about me, but I know that I bring value wherever I go. All right, Pickers Guiding. I'm out. Boom, bam, bim, bim, bam, bam, boom.